on the options, new model first. Then after that, it asks that from which mode you want to initiate your models, right? So there are the three options given there. If you want to start your model or any project, right? So there are three options given that. So how can you start? You have to require according to your project. So the first one, that is the use save user default setting. It means that every software have the default setting. Yes or no, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So same here, the first option is used. If you want to use that the default setting of Etabs, then you have to use that the first method. Okay. And in the default setting, if you want to check, so here specify a message that setting includes units, options, preferences, properties, and definitions. So I will show you that key when we go and define that the material property, the sections properties, and the units. So everywhere there are default units are available, right? I will show you that the
Mhm.
default system setting will be also created there. So if you want to use that the default setting, then you have to use first method. The second one, that use setting from a model file. So suppose that if you have already worked on a project, right? Okay. If you have already done that any project, and if you want to pick that setting of your project, so you have to use that second method, right?
In Etabs, a project in Etabs, right?
Yes.
If we done a project in Etabs, just only in Etabs, right?
Yes. 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 Suppose that I have done that the project previous, right? And after that I just want to do that on a new project, okay, and the project is mostly same like that the previous, okay, right? So we can use that the settings, properties, all these things. So we have to use that the second options, right?
Okay.
Okay. Now the third one, that is the use built in setting with. This options is used for when we do that a new project according to your its own requirement or setting. Okay, right?
Okay.
The project requirement and setting you want to provide its individual for that. So you have to use that use build setting with. Okay. So basically here are the units first you have to set. So there are three units given that US customary, right? Metric SI and metric MKS. So you know that what is the difference between these three units? Any
No,
idea?
Sansanat.
US customary, sir?
US customary basically here used in the ETS, that is for the feet and inch. Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
understood. Metric SI unit. Okay, so metric have the two
Yeah.
units given that metric SI and metric MKS. Okay,
Yes.
so metric SI use it means that if we have to use that the length, so we can prefer that length in the meter, right?
Okay.
Okay, and if we are using that the force, so we can prefer that the force in the kilonewton. Okay, right?
Yeah.
Understood. So here given that you can just click on that. Suppose if you want to check that the US customary, so how unit will display, so just you have to put that the cursor on this I symbol. Okay, so you see that all the units are in the feet and inches, yes or no, and the force will
Yeah.
be in the KIP, right? Okay, so you can see that how the US customary units we have to use. Now the second one, that is the metric SI. So when we put that the cursor on the metric SI, it means that we have to use in the unit that is the meter and kilonewton. Understood?
Yeah.
Mostly we have to use that the unit that is the meter and
Metro
kilonewton.
unit.
And in the metric MKS we go that. So you see that the all the units will be in the kilogram, okay, or mm, right?
Yeah. So,
Suppose that we have to use that the force, so we can calculate that into the ton, okay, right? If
okay.
we weight that the any reinforcement, so or rebar, that is the we can use in the kilogram, okay, we can calculate that the rebar, that is in the mm. So metric SI and metric MKS have the two units. If we have to work in the meter and kilonewton, so we have to prefer SI, okay, and if we have to work in the ton and millimeter, right? In the ton and millimeter, we have to prefer MKS unit system. Understood about that the unit or any confusion?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sono, in case if I create my project using the last option, right? Use
Yes.
build and setting. After
Yes.
I finish this project, I want to make a new one. Then can I
Yes.
use the second option?
Yes, you can say use that the second options.
Okay.
Okay. You have to
Okay.
just when suppose that we have to use that, so just click on that. Okay, right? And after that you click on OK. So it asks that from which file you want to take, right?
Okay.
So I have suppose that save that file, so you can select any of the unit, right?
Right.
Okay, just click on
Okay.
the option this one or click on the option this one, just put that open.
So normally we use the first option, right, Mr. Sono? Or
Basically we use that the options third for every project,
okay.
right? Any query?
No, no,
No,
Mr. Sono. Go ahead.
Okay, fine. Now after that, the next one, that is the steel section database. So if we have to work on the steel, right? So how can
Yeah.
we prefer that the sections? So here are the different country sections are available, right? That is the
okay.
Asian American code. Okay, you see that the Indian code, the Russian code, the Chinese code, Australia, New Zealand. So all country code are available. So we have to work in the India, so we have to prefer Indian, right?
Okay.
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 Now our I already told you about that the introductions class. Which code we have to
Yeah.
use for the steel design and which code we have to use for the concrete design. Okay.
Okay.
So you have to select where are the various codes are available. So we have to select IS 800 2007 for the steel, right? And for the concrete we have to prefer that IS 456. So when you set there, okay, so when you go on the steel design, so the code are already taken, right? And when we
Right.
go for the concrete design, so the code are already taken. We don't have to define that the code there, right?
Right.
Because we have
Okay.
already prepared that the setting for that. So
So
these
each
are,
country. Okay.
yes, this is tell
So
me.
each country, Mr. Sono, has its own code.
Yes,
Okay.
right. So all the you can see that here are the different codes are given, that American code, that is the BS code, okay, right?
Okay.
The New
Okay.
Zealand Australian code, all these code are given there, okay. The SP16 code if you want to detailing purpose, right? Okay.
Right.
So
Clear.
these are the methods by which we can start our model. By which setting we have to start? So first we have to prefer that the setting, okay, right?
Okay.
Now
Right.
click OK. Now after that, there are two templates given. After the starting of your project, you have to prefer that the template, which template you want to prefer, right? So there are the two templates given, that the first template, that is the uniform grid spacing template. Which one? Uniform grid spacing template. So you need that, you here given that the term uniform grid. So what does it means? What is the meaning of
Between two
uniform grid?
members spacing. Spacing between two members.
So a spacing between the two grids will be same, not be changed. Okay. Suppose we have created that the total 5 grids, and I provide that the spacing, that the grid between the spacing, that is the 3 meter. So at every grid spacing will be the 3 meter, right? That is the
Mm-hmm.
meaning of uniform. It means
Grid,
that
grids means nothing but beams and columns. No?
no, only grid means that is the grid. Okay.
Okay.
I already told you that in the introductions class. I
Yeah.
wrote a line that key this software is totally based on the grid,
Okay.
right? So here it asks that. So that is the first one template, that is the uniform grid spacing template, and second template, that is the custom grid spacing template. Okay.
Okay.
right? So there are two forms of templates. So first we start with uniform grid spacing template, and same on the right side you see that this is the story dimensions. Okay, so this story dimensions for the uniform story dimensions, right? And this is the custom story dimensions. Understood? So when we use that the custom, so you can use that custom story data or
Um,
dimension. Okay, fine. So here given that, so we start with a uniform grid spacing, the number of grid lines in the x directions. How many number of grid you want to prefer, right? So you can do that. Suppose we have to, I just take an example randomly, okay, right? After that, if we do that the project, so we can work according to our project. Fine. How many grid we have to define for the project? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Right? So I just suppose that here we have to require that 7 grids in the x directions. There is a 5 grid in the y direction. So I have taken that how many number of grids in the x and y? That is the 7 and 5. Okay.
Right.
Now the next is asked that the spacing of grid in the x direction. So here I provide that in the spacing that is a 3 meter in the x directions and 4 meter in the y directions. It means that when we create that the total 7 grid, so everywhere spacing will be the 3 meter,
3 meters.
right? And in the y directions everywhere spacing will be the 4 meter. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the next one that is the specify grid labeling option. So when you click on these options, grid level, so it specify that the x and y grid. Okay, what does it do? It specify that the x and y grid. Okay, so here in the x directions, what is the id prefer? That alphabetical id we are using, and
Okay.
this grid labeling options used for the center line plan. Okay, right? This grid labeling options is used for the center line plan of beam column wall. Okay, right?
Okay.
Now so the x id we start with alphabetical order, that is the a b c d e f g h, right? And here one more thing, that is key, you want to specify the alphabetical from the left to right or right to left. Okay, fine.
Okay.
So you can prefer that the options same in the y grid. It starts with a numerical data, that is the 1 2 3 4, and same here given that we have to start that the id, that is the bottom to top or top to bottom. Understood that?
Yeah.
yeah.
Now so we are using that the uniform grid spacing, so we have to use that story dimensions. What we have to use? Story dimensions. So here given that the number of stories, so how many number of story you want to create? Etabs is also used for the high rise building. Okay, so
Yeah.
we can create, suppose we have to
Number
create
of
that.
stories 4 means G plus 3 now.
Yes, g plus 3 number of story 4 means g plus 3. Okay,
Yeah.
including that the basement. Okay, right? Now so suppose that we have to use that the
Okay.
10 story. Okay, g plus 9. Typical story means,
Nine.
okay, typical story height means what is the floor height of every story. Okay, so we
Right.
have taken that 3 meter, that is the
3 meters.
10 feet. Okay, the
Yeah.
next one, that is the bottom story height. So bottom story height will be different. What is the height of basement we want to prefer? So all depends on the that, right? So suppose that we have to provide that the basement height, that is the 2.8 meter. Okay,
Yeah, Mr. Sono, what do you mean by bottom story height?
bottom story height is basically the basement.
The basement will yeah, from which level? The
Below,
plinth level or
below
ground
below
level?
below the plinth level.
Okay, underground.
Yes, if you want to provide that underground, or suppose, and the many of the cases, suppose we have to provide that the basement above the plinth level also.
Okay,
Okay, so all depends on you where you want to provide that the basement. Okay,
okay,
right? So many of the cases we provide that the basement from below the plinth level, and in the many of cases we provide that the, that is we just use for the parking place. You can see that,
Right.
right?
Right.
Yes. So according to that, we create that the basement. Okay.
So this basement is not related to foundation. Foundation is something else.
Yes. Foundations is the another part. Foundation is below that the basement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Apart
Uh,
from foundation, it will includes in the stories.
Yes.
right.
Basically, you can say that key foundations is below the plinth level. Simply,
Yeah.
foundations is below the plinth level structure. That is the foundations part. So in
Right.
Etabs, we start with a plinth level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Sono, like I don't know more like about grid dimensions. Like, can you show me like
Yes,
a
yes. I
symbol?
just I just when okay that it will apply that. Okay. Right. So
Okay.
understood that uniform grid spacing how we have to define and how we have to define that the story dimensions. Right. Now
Okay.
Yeah.
after that you have to just click on the options. Okay. So you see that yeah, multiple window appear, right? Yes or no?
Right.
So here the first one window that is the model explorer. Okay, one window appear that model explorer, and this window is very important. Okay, when
Okay.
you do that your project, so the data that you provide in the input and output all are in the model explorer. Okay, if you want to change or modify any data, then you can also go from the model explorer. Okay, and suppose by mistake it is deleted from your workspace. Okay, by mistake it is closed from your workspace, so we have to go in the options and then click on the options, so model explorer. Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
fine. Now the next window you see that is the plan window, plan view, that is the floor plan. Okay, and the another one that is the 3D view. So you see that on the plan view there is a grid are appeared, and on the 3D view the grid are appeared, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So no. So and here given that if you want to change that the different view, so you can change from there also. That is the 3D. Okay. Suppose that we want to show that on the both side, that is the 3D. So you just click on the 3D. So you see that on the both screen we appear that the 3D, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Suppose we want to appear that the plan view. So just click on the options plan. So which story you want to prefer, right? That is the
Okay.
story 10 up to there given that. Yes or no? So which story you want to prepare, just you can click and apply. So now you see that story 10. Okay. And if you want to move that the story 9, story 8, and up and down movement, so you can use that the this arrow, that is the up movement arrow, and this is the down movement arrow. Okay. So
Okay.
suppose that if you want to go on the story 9, so you see that here a story 9 appear, right? Then a
Yeah.
story 8,
8.
7, 6, like we can go that the download story, and if you have to go upward, then you have to click this one. Okay, right?
Okay.
Same like that, if you want to use any other window, another view, so you can click on that side. Suppose here you want to apply that the elevations, right? So elevations are given, that there are various elevations are given, right? A B C D E F G and 1 2 3 4 5 according to grid it forms that the elevation also. So which elevations you want to prefer? This is the elevations view. You see that there is a total story, that is the base story 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, right? So we can use according to your requirement. How can we have to set that the different view? So just click on the options 3D view. Okay, so any query there?
No, sir.
Now
Sir, can
suppose,
we import CAD file into
yes,
ETABS like
yes, yes,
we
yes,
imported into STAD Pro?
yes, we can import that the CAD file and STAD file both in the ETABS.
Okay.
We also import the CAD file, and we also import that the Revit file, and we also import that the STAD file.
Okay, that's great.
Yes, you see that here is the options, right? That is the import file. Okay, that is
Okay.
the Revit structure file, DXF DWG architectural plan, that is the STAD file. Okay,
Sir,
understood?
can we export Etabs file into stats, sir, for foundation
No,
design?
no, no. We can't export.
because it doesn't support foundation
Yes,
Etabs.
you have to just export that you have to just create that the foundations. Okay, right in the STAD foundations. After that, we have to apply that the load and then we have to work. Okay, so we have to
Oh,
if we go in the foundations, what we have to do? We have to create that the column positions, yes or no,
yeah.
right? So that we can create easily in the STAD, and after that there is a support reactions available from Etabs. We can just note that on that, or after that we can apply. Okay.
Oh,
Or we can design in the full building in Stade Bro, Mr. Sono,
Yes,
and have
we can
yeah,
design
and
that the full building in the STAD Pro.
right. But in case if I want to compare between Stad and Etabs, I can design in Etabs the from base to the high level. Then I can compare it with the Stad Bro.
Yes, if we do that the design in the Etabs, right? So it gives you that the best concrete design as comparison to the STAD. Okay, right? Because STADs not specify that your members will pass or fail in concrete in the case of concrete design, right? Okay,
okay,
and one more thing that STAD not generates that the 3D reinforcement view of beam and column. Okay,
Okay,
right? STAD does not gives that the data of drawing sheets. It only so that the output result of concrete design. Okay.
while Etabs it gives all these.
Yes, and ETABS also gives you that the report, that is the summary report and project report both in the Word
yeah.
format. So that is the
Okay,
benefits of ETABS. But the demerits is that it is not used for the foundations. That is the
right.
substructure.
Yeah.
Okay, it is only
So
used for
both
the
of them,
superstructure.
right?
So
Exactly.
if we have you see that many of the structural engineer if work that, so he learned that the many software like the Star Pro, he also learned that Etabs, he also know that Revit structure. So that requirement, according to the requirement, he learned the software, right?
Right.
Okay. And one more thing that if you want to do that the best structural designer, right? So I prefer that a link for a book. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
So that is the most important in that book. Uh, Define that the design of three-story building, that is manually also. Okay, for the beam,
Okay.
column, slab, how we have to take that the data. So if you read that book, so that is the much better.
But in for going into the any government job, there will be only the manual
Support
calibration, no, sir?
yes, manual calculations is very important. And another thing that suppose if you are facing that the interview of a structural engineer, so if you
Yeah.
read that book, so that will help you
Right.
much
It gives you
better.
a clear idea.
Yes, you can clear idea and you can face that the interview. How we have to
Right.
Yeah.
justify that problems. If the interviewer asks that about the structural engineer, so you know that because when we go that first you ask that with the personally interview. After that, if we go in the deep about you, then he assign that any small project and then we have to do that. Right? Simple, right?
Okay.
So if you learn that book and if you study and read the book, so that is the much better. Okay. So I provide that link. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So just go through that link and see that if you have required to purchase that book, then you can purchase. Okay.
Oh, yo, do we need to buy it or it's not free?
Yes.
It's not
Buy means
free?
for
Do you want to buy?
No. I thought it's free, Mr. Sona.
No, no. Basically, that you have to bring that the book. Okay.
You don't have like a copy, Mr. Sona?
I have a book, but I search that book, then it will be not. where I have put that, or any other students and any other persons I give whatever the book. So I already just ordered again that book. Okay. So maybe
Okay.
3 to 4 days it may be delivered, because that is most important. Because if we learn that, many of the times the content will be stored in my mind. Okay. If you don't go through that, the content will remove from the mind also, right? Yes or no?
Right.
Okay, so we can see that regular, then the content will the mind will in the mind, and that's why I can explain that the better. Otherwise, how can I explain, right? Yes or no?
Exactly.
Everything, if you want to explain anything, so you have to content in your mind, then you can explain in a better way, and you can give that the various examples for the understood of that technical terms and anything, right? otherwise
Yeah,
how
that's
Otherwise, how
right.
can you explain if you don't have
Right.
the content in your mind? So that's why book will be most better options to read that and store that the content in your mind. Okay, the Google you
Okay.
can go through that. You can go through that the YouTube. Okay, so all these things. I not that the force to buy that book. If you have a required, then you can buy. But according to my opinion, I suggest to that this book is better for the structural design. Okay,
Okay.
that is the
It will
writer
use for
and
the practical manual
yes,
calculations.
manual and practically both are given there. If you know that how we have to do that the manual, so you can apply that practically. Yes or no,
Yeah.
right? And you have to remember that the writer name, that is the Dr. B.L. Shah. You don't purchase any other writer. Okay,
Is he
because
Indian?
yes, he is Indian.
Okay.
Okay, basically he write that the content that is very accurate. Okay, with the title that I suggest you. Okay, I just send you that, you see that on your WhatsApp.
Okay.
So the title that I suggest you, right? So go on the Google and search that on the Amazon, Flipkart, any other mode. Okay, so same title, there are very books are available, right? Okay, but if you want to go the accurate things, then you have to prefer that the Dr. Vielsa. Okay.
Yeah, I think Mr. Sono, why it's accurate, and I think it's simply explain the idea. That's why you suggest us to read this book, right?
Yes, yes. Simply it, whatever the structure engineer needs that. So he
Right.
explain all the details about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
600, sorry. It is.
Yes. You see that when I prefer that the different books, in the different books there are different contents are available, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So which
Okay. In
book
these
you like that the
earthquake
most?
calculations also there, sir.
Yes.
It- I think in this earthquake analysis also there.
Every static, dynamic, both are given in that.
Okay.
Okay, about that the
I think
material, about that the everything, you can just the book cost, when I purchased that the is also 600. Okay, the cost
I
price
think
is
it's
the
not
six.
too expensive.
Yes, that is the 600 is not expensive, and that you can gain that the content, then 600 is the not matter for that, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So if you need that, if you want to learn, because if you have a theoretical concept, right, so you can implement in the practical. If you don't have the theoretical concept, then how can we implement, right? Yes or
Yeah.
no?
Sir, we can buy the books on the Stad Pro and Etabs, sir. It is useful or not?
No. The candidates, the provided that the books and the material that is not useful, in
Okay.
my experience of 5 years, right? Okay, I already
Okay.
take that the classes in the CAD center, have you known the CAD center? Yes or no? Hear the
Yeah.
name CAD center?
No,
No,
sir.
we don't know.
Yes, it CAD Center is already another franchisee. Okay, like that the CAD desk. Okay, so I also do that the job in 1 years. Okay, so I have seen that the that content also. So in the 5 year experience, no students can read that the book. Okay, because when I deliver that the
Okay.
content, that is enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so no one students can told that ki, sir, I have opened then the book and I read that and I learned that from there, that the review is very. Okay, so you can, if you want
Yeah.
to implement your knowledge and expand your knowledge, that is the, so you can read that the book. Okay, not that the cadex and any other books you have to read out. Okay.
Okay, actually, I was going to ask you about if you can give us a CAD desk book for Etabs,
Yes, I provide you
but
that
I think
today.
that, okay,
Okay, fine. That the soft
yeah,
copy I provide that on WhatsApp I sent today. So you
okay,
just see that. Okay, now comes to our topics. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
So these are the plan view and the 3D view. Okay. Suppose if you want to increase that the window. Okay. Suppose we have to also see that the different elevations here. Okay. So what we have to do? We have to use this symbol. This triangle symbol. Have you seen that? Right.
Yeah.
So you have to
yeah,
click on that. Okay. And after that you have to click on the options add new window. Okay, so here I want to define that the elevation, so just click on the elevations, that is the A elevations. I apply on that side. Okay, so you see that this side there are two window appear, right? Same
right,
here, if you want to appear that one window there, so just click on the options add new window. Okay, and here I implement that the elevations one.
Or what is the use of arrange window?
Yeah, arrange
There is
window.
another. Yeah.
Okay, so basically suppose if you want to arrange the window, then you have to just click on the options arrange window. So you see that it automatically arranged at the window, right? Okay,
Okay.
that
based on what they arrange the window, Mr. Son.
it arranged that ki here I just import that the elevations A, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and on that side elevations one imported, but according to arrangement of the window, elevation one is that side and elevation C is that side. Okay, right?
Okay,
So that he arranged that the window. Suppose that, yeah, I just prefer that 3D that side. Okay, and on that side I just prefer that the plan view. So this is the not correct arrangement. Okay, so
right,
according to
Okay.
that you have to just click on the options and then arrange the window. Okay, so it arrange that side. If you want to arrange that from that side, just click on the options arrange the window. So you see that you can apply that the plan and elevation. Suppose here I specify that the elevations there. Okay, right, and here I specify that the 3D view. So if it is not a perfectly arrangement, so it arranged at the window. Okay, right?
yeah.
Understood?
Mr.
So the
Sono, this yeah, Etab software, is it like how fast is this software? Is it more fast than Revit Structure or Staad Pro?
yes, this is the most useful as comparison to the any other structural software. Okay,
Okay,
yes, because in that we can do that the modeling part, right? We can do that the analysis part. We can do that the design. We can do that the detailing part. Okay,
yeah,
right?
Okay.
right,
So that's why it is very useful.
yeah,
In the start pro we only do that the analysis and design, not modeling and detailing part. Okay, in Revit structure we
right,
only show that the 3D view of reinforcement, rebar, beam, column drawing. Okay, right? So according to the
Yeah.
structural, if you have to work in the structure, so this software is very important, and now in the market this is the most useful.
Actually, I was going to ask you yesterday, Mr. Sono, about Safe software. Do you teach Safe?
No, I don't know that the safe, because
Like,
safe
is
is
it like
basically, SAFE is basically used for the foundation design, and we do that the foundation design in a STAT foundation. So that's why
so no
we
need?
no need to learn that the SAFE. If you know that the
Okay,
STAT and a STAT foundation, so SAFE is not useful, because we do that
right,
the same thing as SAFE and STAT foundation. Okay,
Okay.
and a STAT Pro most of the company prefer that. SAFE not prefer. Okay,
Okay.
so any query? No.
No.
No, Mr. Sono.
Okay, so today you do that the practice up to there. Okay, tomorrow we start how to define that the material and how we create that the beam sections properties and how we draw them.
Okay.
Okay.
Or yeah, Mr. Sono, can you explain more about more in Model Explorer? I think this is most important
Yes, I
window.
just explained that Model Explorer is not right now we have to explain. Okay, basically this is the model part. Okay, so if,
Right.
about that the model, that is the project. Okay, that is the design preferences given that, right? The structure layout, so how many story we have created, all these things we are given that, total story 10, right?
Okay.
How many grid we have using, that is the one grid, that is the G1. Okay, the properties, here I have not assigned that any properties. Okay, not any
Material, yeah.
material, and you see that these are the default setting material. Okay, these are the
Right.
default setting material. Now next one, that is the frame section, so these are the default frame sections. Okay, all are the
Yeah.
default, that is the concrete and steel. So if you want to see any result, okay, any data, then you have to just go in the model explorer. Same that
Right.
in the options display, what you want to display in the model, that is the elevations view. Okay, the plan view. Okay, right,
Yeah.
the 3D view. So what you want to display there, so just click there and you can display.